June 5th, 2020. Why is that date important?
Wow. June 5th, 2020, because we almost lost everything at Fort Mill. It was a fire. And to me, right now, it's like being there and trying to react. A lot of people like to say what they will and what they won't do until that situation happened. When that fire happened, I couldn't just think about myself. The first response is try to put the fire out. Once I say I couldn't contain the fire, then my objective is to get each and everybody out of that building that was in the operation, that was in customer care, that was in upstairs. And after that, calling 911 and then reaching out to y'all guys to let y'all know fire.
Join Charlie Maloof as he explores the personal journeys of Broad River Retail's very own memory makers. Welcome to Stories from the River.
Okay, Keith. Welcome to the Stories from the River podcast, guys. I've been looking forward to this conversation for a long time. I'm sitting here with Keith Henderson. I think maybe our biggest fan on the podcast.
Yes, I am.
You listen to, every Wednesday right when they come out, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. On my way to work, listening to it.
I get your feedback. I've been looking forward to this conversation. It's so great to have you on the podcast. Thanks for carving out some time for us.
Okay, thanks for having me.
So, Keith, you got a crazy story, a wild story, an inspiring story. And we're listening. You ready to tell it?
Yes, I am.
Okay, here we go. So you're a published author. In fact, I've got the book right here. And you're an active creator. I think you've got one of the most popular YouTube channels that's out there, the Brian Glaze Gibbs channel, BGG. And we'll link to that in the show notes here. How long have you had the YouTube channel?
I had a YouTube channel approximately like 3.5, 4 years, but I ain't started working on it until exactly 2 years ago.
Really?
Yes.
So, how many subscribers and regular viewers do you get?
Right now, I got a total of nearing 63,000 subscribers and nearing 10 million views.
Wow. And so what's it about and what led you to start it?
You know what it's about? It's about my life as a kid. Between the age of 14 and 24, how I basically threw away my life. I took it life and freedom and everything it had to offer for granted. And what happened was I got into a world of trouble. And when I got into a world of trouble and I lost my mother in the process, it was time to reinvent. It was time to go back to reality, your original teaching and upbringing.
Okay. And how much time do you devote to the podcast every week?
Approximately, probably like 20, 30 hours a week.
That is a labor of love. You were putting some time into it. So it's a side hustle. It's a good one. Did you just start a form of business?
Yes, I did. Thanks to you. Saying the LLC. I just started it, man, because once again, it's like what I'm trying to do is this, like, it's my ministry. And I am not your typical minister. But what I try to do is take my life experience and try to throw it at these young kids to prevent them from picking up that brick, throwing at that prison wall for absolutely nothing. Letting them know it's no shortcut in life. If you want something, go out there. Hard day work, hard day pay.
Okay. So you've got this amazing story. So let's go back. You talked about, on your YouTube channel, you're talking about ages 14 to 24, your life. Take us. So you've been with us for how long?
Going on 5 years.
So January 2018?
January 29th, 2018, when I got the opportunity to become a memory maker.
Oh, that's great. Who hired you?
It was Lindsay, Trey, and Workman.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you've been with us 4.5 years, going on 5 years with us in operations in Fort Mill. And so take us through your life and your career. And I want to be careful briefly prior to joining the river.
Oh, man. Growing up in Brooklyn, New York, and even with that being said, people don't understand. What I love about growing up in New York, being born in Brooklyn, New York, is it's the big melting pot of the world, where you grow up with every nationality. Mm-hmm. So it was like people was people. So I had that opportunity. Then I had another opportunity every summer coming down to South Carolina.
Really?
And, to me, going down to South Carolina, it was like I learned mannerism. I learned so much. But then that's when you experience racism.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of stuff, even as a little kid, you don't quite understand. But it's like, I remember getting into a racial riot,
Really?
whereas
In South
in
Carolina?
South Carolina,
Where in South Carolina?
in the Charleston area.
Okay.
And when that happened, it was like, being in high school, going back and forth. And, me and my friends, they white guys. We, BSing in class,
Mm-hmm.
joking around or whatever, going outside, smoking cigarette we ain't supposed to be smoking or whatever, doing all the things you ain't supposed to do. So now it's a situation, white and blacks. And it's a situation like, hold up, people, family, people you grew up with down there trying to attack your friend. Hold up, time out. You can't do that. So here it is. Right now, I have people from my neighborhood looking at me crazy, and I have my white friends and them looking at me crazy, but they don't understand it. I'm not a light switch. You can't turn me on, turn me off. If I like you, I like you. If I don't, I don't. But if you're my friend and somebody trying to jump you, I'm going to do everything I can do to prevent it or help you as much as possible.
You're the type of guy someone wants in their corner, right?
Yeah, if you're on my good side.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So what led you to joining the river then in January 2018?
You know what? Like, opportunity, looking for jobs or whatever. The crazy part about that is this. When I first started, Broad River, I had like a 2-3 movie deal on the table.
Really?
So I had this company, I had to sign the deal, and we would just talk about different things. And right now, like I always try to explain to people, everybody want to be a rapper, everybody want to be a ball player, whatever. You always got to have a second and third plan A, plan B, plan C, just in case that don't go through. So with that, as you waiting for it to go through, things start happening or whatever. A lot of times people can say one thing, but sometimes you have to put your money where your mouth is. And like I say right now with a deal, until you see that check and that check clear, a deal is not a deal. So even with that being said, was as time went on, when they want to shoot and I signed another contract, then that's when COVID hit. So we supposed to start shooting April of 2020, a series about my life, and then COVID hit.
I was going to ask, the movie deals is about your life in New York from ages 14 to 20.
From age of 14 to 24.
Wow. Okay. So we talked about you're such a fan of the podcast. I mean, and I love that. I mean, I love that it's resonating with you. What is it about our podcast stories from the river that resonates so much with you?
You know what? Because once again, first of all, like I told you, when you listen to people, and even right now, as we went back and forth, I email you, hey, what was your minor? What was your major? Did you took any type of journalist class? Because once again, as I'm listening to you answering these questions, it's like you're a fisherman. And what you're doing is you're taking your rod and you're just throwing it out there and you put that bait on it and you know what type of bait to put on it. And as you interview and asking these questions, you're reeling them in. And I'm like amazed because once again, you do a hell of a job for somebody that don't have this type of prior experience. So that's what I like. But then again, when you listen to right now the guests and some of the things that they be saying, it's like unbelievable. We get to know like some of the things like interpersonal stuff and it's very relatable and I love it, man. And so that's why I say I look forward to it, man.
Well, it is relatable. No, there's no formal training. I never thought I saw myself as a podcast host, but I'll tell you two things that have probably led to like, I've listened to a lot of podcasts, not hundreds, probably thousands of episodes. So I love podcasts. The other thing is, I got not 10,000 hours, maybe not even 100,000 hours, 1,000,000 hours of just the people at Broad River. And I see and have had the privilege of seeing so many amazing stories. And I just felt like it's almost selfish to kind of like, I got all the stories, I can't share them. No, I feel like these people's stories, our Memory Maker stories, are worthy of being shared and should be shined a spotlight on and be talked about. And like, I think it'd be helpful to others beyond our four walls. We're trying to kind of be mindful of our organizational weight beyond our Broad River walls. I think also it'll help people within Broad River to hear each other's stories. So I just got a passion for helping people tell their stories. And I do have a passion for audio, the medium of audio and podcasting. So, let me ask you this then. What have been some of your favorite stories from the river episodes and why?
Like Listen More, I love it with Renee Bradley. I love it, Manny, Chris Berrier, Stacy, Heather, Big Mo. There's a few, even right now, Janet. And like to me, honestly speaking, I think the one that resonate the most, that hit home, kind of brought like tears to my eyes, is Chris.
Chris Barrier?
Yeah, because once again, it's like right now where it's like, his story completely and how he came from the restaurant industry and some of the things that he experienced. And then right now, when he took the chance to get on, he came to Broad River Retail and how he expanded and excel, but then in between how he battled and was going against the system. We got a system in place. If you utilize the system, you can win. And initially, like, well, I'm not going to do the VIP. So like he say, like, wait a minute, how you gonna go against that? But then again, as he humble himself and say by using the VIP and teaching other people how to use the VIP, doing his saying development, how successful him and others have became by buying into the system. But sometimes you can be rebellious, talking about how he lost everything and how he which company was there to help him. So I don't know, it was something about that I'm saying right now that really hit home.
I mean, I think you're like the Broad River historian. You've retained all this knowledge. I mean, that's really impressive, and that is his story in a nutshell. I mean, it's a great redemption story, and losing the rebellion and the ego, and then humbling himself, and then finding great success on the other side of that. And that's really been his story. So, do you feel like you've learned more about our company? And I love that you have this relatable, you love the relatable stories, and we all love relatable stories, and our people are relatable. But do you feel like you've learned more about our company and your fellow memory makers by following their stories each week when they're published?
Yes, I do. And what I do is I recommend it to other, like I'm saying, on folks, hey, look, check that out. Check it out. Because once again, it helps you to see people not from a working standpoint, but from a whole picture. A lot of times we like to judge, but right now we don't understand what people been through. Even like you're saying, going back to the Janet story, before she got married, she had to learn how to walk all over again, and the boarding school and everything. So it's like we think we know, we don't know what a person is going through. So that's why I say what I love about us as far as Broad River is we accept people and deal with people and relate to people for who and what they are.
Yeah, it's two things I would say there. It's like it's a collection of stories. Each person has a story, and there's so much behind that story. And sometimes we see this veneer of success. No, I mean, we're just seeing what bubbles out beneath the surface. What bubbles out beneath above the surface. We don't know that there's so much adversity and resiliency beneath the surface that grew, that made them who they are. And that's what comes out on these episodes sometimes.
Yes.
So I tend to believe that most people remember their first day with the company. So I think you said it was January 29th, 2018. And so do you remember your first day with us?
Yeah, I remember my first day.
Okay. What do you remember about that day?
You know what? Orientation, the fill out process. And basically right now is like, I just don't want to talk about that first day. I want to talk about probably that first week.
Okay.
Because once again, it's like, what I love, I got the opportunity. I got the opportunity to be a new supervisor. Okay. But I got the opportunity to be a new supervisor with a new shift, meaning new people. So when you knew as a coach, manager, like you managing a baseball team and you don't have no talent. So it's like getting the opportunity to manage the Bad News Bear was, it was a very, very challenging process.
Because you started on the night shift?
No, it was a second shift.
Second shift?
But they created like they're saying like different days, like, more or less right now we went from like the second shift and we just added some more days onto the second shift during that period of time.
Got you. All right. So we opened this episode with telling the June 5th story a little bit. Let's unpack that. So we had a warehouse fire. We saw the warehouse filled up with smoke. We thought, and it was filled with inventory too, at a time when it was tough to get inventory. We thought we were dead on arrival. We thought we were done and cooked. And, but most importantly, we got everyone out and got them all safe, like you said. So thank you for that. I mean, you said you don't know what people don't think they think they'll know what they'll do in those moments, but until those moments happen, and we don't wish those moments to happen. But it's the middle of it's the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. There's social unrest in America. The George Floyd event had just occurred.
Exactly.
And riots were stemming from the outcry of what happened there. And our Fort Mill warehouse, loaded with inventory, has a fire, gets filled up with smoke. What was going through your head that evening?
That was a long night,
It
man.
was a long night.
That was a long night. What was going to my head, as long as we got everybody out the building, and even right now, reaching out to the fire department, having them come, having you come up there, Manny, everybody else like staff, Tito, Trey, everybody. And to me, honestly speaking, like literally, when I call Manny and I say, Manny, we got a fire.
Mm-hmm.
Manny like this, Keith, stop playing. I'm like, man, do you think I'm gonna call you on a Friday you the owner? I'm gonna
Yeah.
call one and owner, hey, like it's April Fool,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
got a fire. We got a fire. And he's still like, stop playing, I say, Manny, I'm dead serious, man. We got a fire. So we got the phone. But like you say, going back into the building, and you're right, man, smoke everywhere, water everywhere, damage. And like to me, like, to everybody stay together. And I can remember, Harold Hampton, Tracy, everybody, how we all came together and basically what we're gonna do to fix the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And special shout out to Conley, John Conley, because once again, from his experience from other places, it helped to base right now on what we need to do to make sure that situation, we didn't lose a life. We didn't lose, probably very little product. I don't know what's the number. I know we lost because of smoke damage.
I'm going to talk about that in a second.
Okay.
Yeah.
But once again, even with the George Floyd situation, man, and I think during that period of time, and even with that, I think it brought us memory makers closer. Because even some of the stuff that we was expressing, and you share something, with me about growing up in Mississippi, and I share certain things with you about and people don't understand that as far as that racism and what we saw that took place, but how we was able to, even we established a program. I can't think of it. I don't need Anita. Anita was
Anti-racism.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I thought that was very huge because we got everybody opportunity to express themselves. So even with the George Floyd situation and the fire situation, like I say, I think that fire was a blessing in disguise.
So we got two topics here. I'm going to take them one at a time. Let me finish up on the fire.
Okay.
We actually, and John Connolly, James Willett, Manny, Tito, some huge heroes that night that emerged. You being one of them. We don't talk about that fire that much these days. And through the tumultuousness of 2020, part of the reason is because it became almost a non-event.
It did.
Now, we learned from it. We will never make that mistake again, Lord willing. But how surprised? So you asked about the intelligent design of the warehouse. The fire was actually right outside the warehouse, escaped into it, and then the sprinkler system worked as it should have, and it attacked the part where it spread into the dock doors, and so it was filled up with smoke, but not with fire.
Yeah,
and that's why. And so mostly what got damaged was what was right in the prep lanes.
Okay.
So where we thought we were going to have 90% damage and loss, we ended up with 90% saved.
Wow.
And only 3% loss. So how surprised were you that we escaped that potentially catastrophic, devastating situation with very little damage?
Very surprised because once again, you have to be there to see it. And once we've seen it, it's like, to me, what we was talking about? We was talking about probably shutting the operation down for quite some time. And right now, look what happened. It didn't. But one thing I can say, honestly speaking, to the degree, I hate to say it, and don't take it the wrong way, I think that fire was a blessing in disguise.
Oh, I don't take that the wrong way. I think it was.
And you know why I say I think that fire was a blessing in disguise? Because of the way the trash was and the way we had like 3 doors from the bottom to the top, from the front to the back, pile up each and every day. Now, since that fire, it's like we learn, and the way we reinvent and recirculate that Bella, and as far as the recycling machine, we had never seen that condition again.
That's right. Well, it absolutely was a blessing in disguise, and fortunately we escaped it, and it was a situation that we wish never would have happened, but it happened. Part of the reason we couldn't get the big fans from the city of Charlotte to blow the smoke out, we had the smaller fans, was because they had them uptown dealing with the riots that were happening at that same time in response to George Floyd's death. Now, you alluded to this earlier, and so the program that we started right after then was, we felt like our memory makers were hurting. Not only we felt, we saw it, we sensed it. about what had happened with systemic racism and with police brutality. And everyone was like, what do we say? What do we do? And we were just like, well, you know what we're not going to do? We're not going to be silent. So we said, we're just going to take a stand. And so we formed an anti-racism committee and council, and we called it the ARC. We had table talks. We said, we're going to get together and talk. We're going to figure out what we're going to do with our commitment. And we had like a moment of silence for 8 minutes and 46 seconds across all of our stores and our contact centers, and shut down the company for that period of time in recognition of what happened, to support our fellow memory makers, really. So, what was your experience through that? Through how did your memory makers feel that how we responded to those events, and what'd you hear, and how did you think that we responded to that?
I think right now, though, this respond from, what I'm saying, up top was great, because once again, everybody felt the situation would be swept under the rug. But sometimes when you grab the bull by the horn and you address it, it just make people like, wow. Because now we start to get people to express themselves, and when they start expressing themselves, they're like, like they love the support that was give back. And because even with the whole situation or whatever, with the George Floyd situation, like to sit there and watch what happened, what took place, it's like I had mixed feeling about that. And the reason I had mixed feeling about that, because everybody was up in the uproar, whereas we watched this white officer, put his knee on his neck. And right now is based upon my life experience, my life story. Is that right now is because we watch, he's white, George Floyd is black. And that's what my life story is about. It's like I felt like, wait a minute, hold up. Like, we're mad about that. But then again, where's you being black, me being black, I heard other black folks, and other black folks hurting each other each and every day. So once again, here it is, I had to hold myself accountable and really start beating up myself about that. And that's why I try to share to other people.
Yeah.
We want, like right now, from a standpoint, from a race, but we are our own worst enemy. So what we have to do is right now is, that's wrong. And two wrongs don't make a right. But what we have to do is, how do we get complete control and understand we should be mad at him, but guess what? We got to change his behavior about attacking each other also.
And I think it starts with listening and being willing to have conversations and talk about it, and talk about our own experiences growing up. And because otherwise you just talk amongst your own people who are like you, and you talk behind people's back, and you sweep it under the rug. And so let's bubble this up. That's where darkness hides, and evil hides in the darkness, right? But you got to bring this stuff to the light and be willing to talk about it. So anyways, let's talk about your life at the river. So what has life been like at the river for you from your vantage point? Has it met your expectations? What has surprised you?
You know what? Within 10 months being at the river, I turned in my notice.
Did you really? I didn't know that.
I gave my notice. I turned my notice in October of 2018.
Did somebody talk you out of that?
Yeah, I left. So what happened was, like, when I turned in my notice, and I got the first phone call, workman, where you going? What's going on? Listen, man, like, I need to talk to you, whatever. Then I got Manny, come to my office. We got to talk. And right now is like both of them like came to me, and basically we went back and forth. And what happened is, like, literally, like, I left anyway. But like before I left, it was, they gave me a little party, like, take care, sign card or whatever. And it was a rough day, and I didn't leave until like 4:00 in the morning. And right now I had like tears in my eyes. And as I left, and I'm thinking about it, and I went to the other company and everything like that, came back, turned on my computer. Hey, buddy, where you at? We want to go with you. And that. So, you go to the other company, you sit back and think about it. And I remember having a conversation with my wife. I said, you know what, man? I said, here it is right now is, like with this company. I say, the way they treated me, the way they accept me. I said, right now, they found out who the hell I was. And it was nothing. They came back like, we don't want you to leave, made me a better offer, everything. And I left anyway. And it went back to right now where it's like, you only can go to the prom who want to go to the prom with you. So once again, how I thought about it is this company, despite when they found out who I was, still accepted me, still wanted me. Whereas I went to this other company, which is a Fortune 100 company. If they knew who I was, how would they treat me? Oh, we got to get rid of them. We got to do this and that. So to me, what it was like simple. I want who want me. It's like a relationship. It's like a marriage. So right now, you telling me right now, guess what? As long as you come in here and do what you need to do or whatever, you're going to have a job. So guess what? We want you on our team. So right now, if you want me, I want to be here. So I'm like this. I call Workman up. I said, offer still on the table? He said, don't play with me. Don't play with me. I said, I still get this. I still get this. He said, yeah. And I was back, like I'm saying, within like the following week.
Okay. I didn't know you had left and come back. I knew it probably 4 years ago and I forgot, but, you know, it's not who you were, it's who you are today. And that's what's most important. Because we've all been different people at various degrees and made mistakes that I'm sure we all regret. So let he who is innocent cast the first stone. Of all of your various achievements and accomplishments here at the river, what are you most proud of?
You know what, honestly, as an individual, his name is Scholar Man. Scholar Man, like right now, is like this guy, like unbelievable. Like his whole demeanor, attitude, personality, everything. And I remember we was going into peak season and, you know, busy season during the holidays. And what we had was a situation. We had too many Lyft drivers and not enough Lyft. So once again, like I'm into that coaching, counseling, training. And I was telling people, I like to sell them my opportunity. I say, anybody that want to learn how to get in management, how to go to the next level right now, this is the time. And with him and a couple guys say they want to do it. But with him, he took his time taking notes. I told him, I said, look, man, tomorrow you're going to be walking with me. You're going to be training and everything like that. I need you to come in here with some slacks and a dress shirt. You know, looking at me, you know, in your early 20s, looking at me like, slack, why I got to do that? I said, because I'm asking, can you do that? So right now, he did. And right now, me and him was walking around, like, you know, showing him the day-to-day, how we get the operation started. And as we doing that, we walked past Conley. And as we walked past Conley walked past us, and then all of a sudden he turned around like what's going on over here? So in order to be the part, you got to look the part. This young man, like right now, anything you ask him to do, he go way and beyond his expectation. And what I love is the fact that now, I'm saying he became a supervisor.
That's great.
And
What's his name?
His name is Scholar Man. He's
Scholar
one of our
Man.
supervisors. And there's another one, Trevor Goodwin. He left, but he was into that same little program that I started. Now he's a supervisor up in Spartan Ridge.
And it's about appearance and dressing the part. And maybe that's that positive role model
Attitude,
mentorship.
man.
Maybe they haven't heard that before. Like, see your potential, who you can be. I love that. So I love that you answer about your various achievements and accomplishments, and you just turn it about someone else who you helped get better.
Because once again, it's all about how to, right now, help people get where they need to be.
I love it. You've worked with so many different people and have had multiple leaders or managers who you've worked with. I'd like to give you an opportunity to reflect on the impact of some of your fellow memory makers. Like, who are some of the memory makers from operations whose names we may not hear of every day, but who have really impressed you along the way, other than Skylar Man?
Well, other than Skylar Man.
Yeah.
You know what? Honestly speaking, it's a rookie. Stacy Pittman. Stacy just got with us. She came from Riverstone. And right now is, as far as like, she came from Riverstone and what I watch. Whereas, like, I was never a big fan of Riverstone. I haven't stopped being a big fan of them since Kurt left. And that was years ago. And right now it's like, what she do is how do we work together? And not only that, when she came in with that attitude, guess what? No service failure. We want to make sure she had like 30-something days, make sure everything got out of that building going to the customer. It's that passion, that desire, want to win. And we was able to get her on our team. And being that we got her on our team, what I watch and what I like is the way she handle and deal with people. Basically right now is like taking them, like, you know, like embracing them, showing them right now what we have to offer here. So to me, I don't think, you know, right now, a lot of times people don't understand who she is because she knew. But besides her, I got to shout out, you know, Trey, of course. That was me and him been battling since I got here, whatever. But love him to death. Tito is another unsung hero because once again, Tito right now, we bump head, but very coachable. He teach you whatever he know. He know every job in that building.
Yeah.
And like I said, hold on, let me see. Teresa's no longer with us, but Teresa, and there's a few, like you said right now, from Anita, from you, from Manny. It's the list go on.
Yeah.
So everybody, listen. If I miss your name, do not get me back in the warehouse and hold me accountable.
They're
man.
not gonna do that to you.
Jesse McIntyre, shout out to Jesse. Tim Sells, also Jesse Hetley at that front desk.
She
That's
does-
the, oh
she
my
does- she
God.
does a great job.
Hey, look. So, hey, listen, Brittany Hill helped me out a lot. It's so many. So I don't want nobody to feel.
I know you don't want to leave anyone's names out.
Yeah, they gonna kill me,
No,
man.
you're good. Well, who are some of the managers you've had, and how has their leadership impacted you? Give us 2 or 3.
Like I say, Stacy Pittman. Basically right now is how to approach certain situations, circumstance. You know what? Like I told you, Tito and it's Trey. They show me different things. Even you. I remember I had a situation with Conley and them.
I remember that conversation.
And basically right now is hey, look, this is what you need to do and this is how you need to do it or whatever. It's like, look, hey, John, I'm willing to put my neck on the line. Can you do that for me? I'm putting my neck. I owe you one. But it's like the way. Because a lot of times right now, I'm very passionate what I do. And sometimes I think people take my passionate like I'm upset, but I'm express myself. And right now it could come across a certain way that people don't quite understand it. They think, oh man, he's upset, he's angry. But it's like listening to those advice, like those direction made a big difference.
You don't have a second gear. You only have a first gear. Okay. Let me, I got an icebreaker question for you. So this is a get to know Keith Henderson. So let's say you're at the end of your career, you're sitting on your front porch, drinking your sweet tea or whatever your beverage of choice is. You're reflecting on the good old days and you want people to remember you a certain way and they can only come up with 3 words. What are those 3 words you want people to say to describe you?
I'm stern, I'm fair, and emotional.
Stern, fair, and emotional. I think that perfectly describes you. I think I know you a little bit better now. Hey, Keith, what are your best daily habits and that serve you well?
My best daily habit is waking up every morning and whatever day it is, like today, Fabulous Friday. Before I get out of bed, I say, today's going to be Fabulous Friday. And I recite that in my head like 20 times. Whether it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Do you have a name for each day of the week?
Yes, I do.
Okay, let me hear them.
Fabulous Friday, Sensational Saturday, Super Sunday, Marvelous Monday, Terrific Tuesday, Wonderful Wednesday, Tremendous Thursday. Back to Fabulous Friday.
I love it. That's so good. That's so good. Hey, what do you think is your superpower?
My superpower, accountability.
Really?
Holding myself and others.
Okay. I'm sure you've had great mentors in your life, and I think mentorship's really important. Where or from whom do you get your mentorship?
You know what, honestly speaking, it was my mother. Right now is as far as, it didn't matter whether she was sick or what. Each and every morning she got up and she went to work, went lose a drawer. And not only that, as far as like being stern and fair.
That's where you got that from.
That was her.
Where do you get your inspiration and motivation? You seem like a very driven individual. I mean, you go and create a YouTube channel that's got 63,000 viewers and 10 million views. Where do you get your inspiration, drive, and motivation?
From being a failure, from screwing up your life, that right now you just hit rock bottom. Once you hit rock bottom, it's nowhere up, but you can stay there, lay down and play dead and die. Or right now is, I'm going to change.
So it was from the second chance.
Second chance.
And not wanting to see it.
I'm tired of losing.
I've often said, like, you ever study people who've had near-death experiences?
Yeah.
And what do they appreciate more than anything?
Life.
Yeah, life, breath in their body. And they take it, they don't take it for granted. They got that gratitude for each breath in their body, just like you wake up every morning and chant the day of the week and the gratitude for it. So what do you think are or have been the secrets to your success?
You know what? Understanding who I am. Understanding how I became who I became when I was a long lost kid. Understanding right now I had, mental health issue and had to get that addressed. And once again, a lot of times people they run away from that.
How did you get that addressed? When was this? When you were younger?
Yeah, when I went away.
Yeah.
When I went away, and basically right now is start, getting help.
Hmm.
Like, first of all, in order to get help, you got to know that you need help. And
But how did you get it addressed? You just
went to, like, seeing psychs,
okay.
doctors.
How long did it take for it to you think get to where it's balanced and healthy?
Once I came clean and admit that I did have a problem,
Hmm.
yeah, it took a few years.
Okay. So I know that it always takes a village to achieve success. Who are some of the unsung heroes of your world? Tell us what they do or have done that have helped you or that do help you.
In my world, in my complete world or my Broad River world?
You can answer it either which way.
Mm?
Your complete world if you want.
My complete world, I like to say my wife. Some of the things that we done been through or whatever, and understanding, decided, going back and forth, separate and get back together, and understand. Guess what? We are here to the end.
How long have you been married?
8 years.
Okay.
Hmm.
And what about within your Broad River world?
My Broad River world, honestly speaking, it's too many to name. But it's like what I'm saying, because anybody that you go in there, you can depend upon, you can lean on.
Well, I know you've never met a stranger.
Yeah, you met plenty of strangers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
you've made a lot of friends. Okay, well, tell me. Let me go this direction then. What is one thing about Broad River that you think would surprise others from the outside looking in?
As far as you can go. The difference is this is the only company besides like UPS. You can walk in on the ground level and walk out on top.
Okay, it may be a layup question. What is something about you that would surprise your fellow memory makers?
Then I'm a very sensitive person.
Are you very sensitive?
Oh man, look, man.
How does that manifest itself?
You know what? Having true identity and understanding who you are, what you are. And the difference right now is like, to me, I wear my emotion on my sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, like, being able to like develop thick skin, because a lot of times, sometimes growing up, you can be too sensitive and you take things personal. But understanding who you are and develop thick skin is like prevent a lot of headache, unnecessary, like, problems.
Yeah, I think took things too sensitive and had to develop that thick skin growing up, and I'm sure a lot of us did. Okay, becoming purpose-driven as an organization. Let me switch gears. Our organizational purpose is furnishing life's best memories. Do you have a favorite Broad River story or memory that you haven't already mentioned that you can share with us?
I kind of did, because like you know what? Yeah, I do. Orange Crush.
Yeah. The Orange Crush
Orange
3.
Crush.
Remember when we came to the warehouse?
That's what I'm talking
I
about.
almost put that in here to
Orange
ask you
Crush.
about. It was like 5 a.m.
4 a.m., 5 a.m. or whatever, because Orange Crush. Because once again, right now is you took everybody. Y'all guys came in early in the morning.
Mhm.
We work in a third shift or whatever, and everybody came together, eat, congregate, prayer, sing, giving away gift prizes. To me, letting everybody know the direction where the company is going at. So honestly speaking, I like to say Orange Crush was my, like one of my most memory. I love that.
Well, I'm glad you said that. I felt like a fish out of water. It was like I just didn't feel like it was tough. It was 5 a.m. and we'd given 24 of these pep rallies and town hall speeches and vision casting speeches and rah-rah pep rallies. And it was just, I felt people were tired. I was probably tired just giving this thing at 5 a.m. You don't typically give a big motivational speech or talk at vision casting speech at 5 a.m. So
I remember that well, because even right now, yo, Keith, come up here, talk about this. Yo, I'm like, yo, man, come on, man.
Phone a friend.
Hey, bud, guess what? You tell me what you wanted to be when you was a kid. I said, I wanted to be a baseball player. You said, go ahead, talk about way back deep the center field. That ball is going. So you remember those things, man.
You got a great memory, Keith. Decoy. So we love competition, right? And in fact, the word competition, in my opinion, gets a bad rap because the root word of competition is competare, which is Latin. It means to strive together, not to beat the other person, but to lift each other up. And Tim Klaus was on the podcast earlier this year and shared with us about Decoy, DC of the Year. How is the DC of the Year competition going? Like, how is Fort Mill doing?
Fort Mill is doing great. I feel right now there's other areas that we definitely can improve in, and we are doing it. But once again, like you say, it's so long. When Fort Mill have always been number one, because there was no competition. Then all of a sudden, here come you know what I'm saying, Four Oaks.
Yeah.
Now I'm Spartan Ridge. So when you sit back and think about it, I think people are taking pride because everybody want to be number one.
Mhm.
It's like a movie I never thought I would like.
Yeah.
Like, you know, on Talladega Night. If
You never
ain't
thought you
first,
liked-
oh, I would never thought I liked Talladega Night. If you ain't first, you last.
Yeah.
Everybody want to be first.
Yeah, I got it. That's a great culture recall there. Speaking of culture, I know we're biased, but we believe that our culture at the river is unique and special. We hope it is, at least. What is your favorite thing about our culture here at Broad River? And in your opinion, what is it that makes our culture special?
You know what? That's one of the reasons, like I told you, when I turned in my notice and I came to Manny's office, and Manny and we sat down, he said, look, man, the culture down there, we don't have it. It's fake. And right now is I had to think about that. And then to the degree was right. It's like back then, I think people were just pretending. Now we got so many different people, you know, half people back then stay and we got new people. But I think the people that we do have now, sincerely, genuine, care. And it shows as far as like when we able to take somebody's hand, hold up, come here. Let me train you the right way.
Yeah.
So I think our culture, as far as being able to cultivate, being able to share, being able to walk everybody through, you know, saying nobody like being new.
Yeah, and I was reflecting. I mean, you can't just microwave it. It doesn't happen right away. You have to work it and work it and work it and filter through the people who shouldn't be there and bring in the right people and it just takes time.
Sit back and think about it. Look at that. Whereas right now, I got a thing. I'm not just hiring anybody. I'm not going to bring anybody in
Yeah,
that
be
building.
picky. Yeah.
Like I tell you, certain family member I wouldn't give a job to because what the sense knowing you got to fire
Yeah,
them.
that's right. What happens here that doesn't happen at other companies?
I think what happened here don't happen in other company is opportunities because once again, I think a lot of company go by who know who and favoritism. Where as far as right now, if you come in here and you apply yourself, like I told you with the scholar situation, these guys come in here and they see they're able to grow. And they see it take no time. If you come in here, you can be that Patrick Mahoney. You can be, wait a minute, they got rid of Alex Smith. Why we got rid of Alex Smith? Because we know what we got as far as in camp.
You're going with football metaphors. You may lose some of our audience members, but that's good. I'm tracking with you. I know where you are. Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes are two great quarterbacks. Love both those guys. Our company's word of the year in 2022 is thrive. What does it mean for you to thrive?
You know what? Like I say, it's like, you know, getting, you know what I'm saying, the maximum result in everything that we do. If everybody could come and build together as a team, guess what? Like if my job is to make my coworker, my colleague job as easy as possible. If we all do that, guess what? We're going to all receive maximum results.
That's right. So what advice would you offer up to a fellow memory maker to help him or her thrive this year? The year's not over with.
Come in, regardless of what you might be going to, like as far as personally, you know, emotionally, you know, come in here and like when you come in here, you're going to win. You know you're going to win. Whatever you might be going through, separation, you know, health problem, check that out the door. Come in here right now. I'm coming to win. I'm going to give you all 4 quarters.
Got it. That's a good one. What advice do you share with rookies when on their first day in ops?
It's ironic, but you know, it's a mouthful because once again, like letting them know, man, listen, if you come in here each and every day and you got that fire burning, first of all, if you're reliable and if you got that fire burning in your belly and you want it, guess what? You can achieve and you will grow with this company.
Okay. So you just pitch a vision for them for their career.
Listen, when I got here, it was only 1 building.
That's 3.
And right now it's 3.
Yeah.
When I got here, I couldn't tell you how many stores it was, but now what, 31?
It's 31. It's 31.
So guess what? Opportunity.
That's right. So if you could change one thing about the company today with the wave of a magic wand, what would it be?
If I can change one thing, I don't know whether change, but if I can get everybody to understand that, guess what? It's no competition. And what I mean by that, here it is. You don't have to. Like, I want everybody to understand that, guess what? Whatever's for you, you're going to get.
Okay.
So the bottom line is you don't have to step on nobody else to get where you need to
Yeah.
be.
Okay. So let's say that my time is up. I've decided to retire and I gave you the keys to the company. You're the new president and CEO of Broad River Retail. And today is your first day in this big new role. What would be your first order of business?
My first order of business was get that navigator.
Oh, Keith.
I get that navigator.
Oh,
You know what? Honestly, man, it's like right now is you got honestly like some of the right people in the right place. And to me, it's like right now is it wouldn't be nothing to really tweak. Only thing would be is like, us continue to get everybody like, look, he's gone. But right now he's still here. What we have to do is he set us up to win. We got to show him that we still can maintain and grow. It'll be a disappointment if we go belly up, we go the opposite direction.
That's a great answer. You want to continue thriving as an organization and collectively figure out how we're going to do that and pull the troops together. That's great. That's leadership. I was trying to move off the car. Personal growth and development. Okay. Do you feel that working at the river has positively impacted your desire for personal growth and development?
Yeah.
How so?
In so many ways, because once again, like understanding when to and when not to express yourself. And then right now is understanding expressing yourself in the right way. Because once again, having a meeting, if you come in the meeting all fire up for the wrong reason, then guess what you're going to do? You're going to ruffle some feathers.
So how to approach people and having discernment of, hey, take the defensiveness off. Don't just spout off for a second. We can address this. We all have to calm down a little bit, especially, and you said one of your words is emotional. That's where sometimes our emotions can get the best of us, right? And so we have to just be wary of it, like use it for good, because emotional can inspire greatness and can drive activity and just pull the best of, but it can also be our biggest, our kryptonite too. So we got to be careful about it.
Our emotion can supersede.
That's right. There's Jonathan Ishii said his dad used to tell him, I'd rather not say anything than open my mouth and remove. I'd rather be thought a fool and not say anything than open my mouth and remove all doubt.
You convicting yourself.
Yeah. We used to have a sign, and my mom had a sign on the wall that said, if you think twice before you speak once, you'll speak twice the better for it. So, just calming down and processing before we kind of say something we might regret, sort of thing. Hey, what book are you currently reading other than Beyond Lucky?
I don't, you know what, honestly speaking, I got a few books that I've been trying to read. I read them years ago. Awaken the Giant Within by Anthony Robbins.
Yeah.
And unlimited thinking. But, to me, like I've been carrying around, so I got to get back into it or whatever. And you just be surprised, man. Like, it's so much of stuff that's out there that those are the two books I'm working on right now.
Okay. Those are great. Other than this one and your own, what are your other favorite podcasts?
You know what? Honestly, I don't really watch podcasts because once again, when you got a YouTube channel, certain things got to stumble upon you or somebody send you a link to look at or whatever. And to me, like just by like having time, like listening, and to me, the realness. And then when you can identify with the people that's, oh man, I didn't know this about this person.
Well, I don't see how you have time. You're putting 20, 30 hours a week into the BGG channel. So,
but
still, and you got a full-time job at the river.
But it's not that. But it's like, to me, like even books, and even especially it's about stuff that I've been through, experience on the negatives, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I didn't hear it all.
Do you watch television?
Yeah.
What show are you currently binge watching?
What show it's All America 2. It's All America 2. Besides that, it's what City of the Hill.
Okay.
It's a few. So those like it's like right now you're right as far as when it comes down to binge. Oh man, like you find the good stuff, and I get mad when it's over with.
I figured you would be watching like Hard Knocks on HBO.
Nah, because once again, like those are how can I say, man? No, like with those guys. To me, I call them a bunch of rich babies. They rich babies.
Tell us how you really feel. No, I'm just kidding.
They rich
I'm kidding.
baby.
I'm kidding. Okay, well, when you stop working for the day and stop working on the BGG channel, the YouTube channel, and you have some time for yourself, what do you really like to do for fun or to relax?
You know what? Sometime absolutely nothing. And what I mean by that is this, man, like learning how to value your time and understanding what time is.
You don't have to just
Like,
fill it up.
I don't, because like I told you, man, for years, even when between the age of 14 and 24, I reached a point when I was making $40,000 a day. And even with that being said, I wasn't happy. Why I wasn't happy? Because you constantly looking over your back, worrying about your phone being tapped, worrying about your door being kicked in, worrying about the bad guys. And you didn't appreciate things. Now, as I get older, I appreciate life. And sometimes right now, I don't have to go outside. I don't have to do no laundry. I don't have to clean up. I don't have to do anything. Just doing absolutely nothing is more joyful than anything.
I never have a do nothing day. I wish I did have a do nothing day. I miss those. I probably did back when I was much younger. But all right, Keith, this has been fun. I've got one last question for you. You ready? Final advice to someone who is not a memory maker and is thinking of coming to the river. Let's say they've been interviewing and they're wondering what to do. What advice would you offer to that person?
My advice, honestly, is, fill out an application. And right now is, guess what? You come in here with the right attitude, being reliable, and you have that fire burning in your belly. Guess what? You can be sitting right where I'm sitting at. You know what I'm saying? Across from this man right here. And guess what? You can wind up being the main man of this company.
That's right. Anything else you want to share?
Hey, I want to thank you for the opportunity, being at like Broad River. Like I say, even like I told you, the most memorable part, like you say, was Orange Crush 3. And I remember months, I haven't seen you in like months that time. And like the first time, like, we haven't seen each other in a month, early in the morning, you like gave me a big bag, Keith. So that's volume. You are the owner of the company. You got so many employees. But it's like the way you treat people make people want to work with you and for you.
Well, Keith, I got a few other things before I let you off the hot seat that I want to read to you. Because I've talked to some folks who work with you and I asked them about you. Can I share this?
Go ahead, be my guest.
All right, this is from Austin Wilson.
Yeah, I forgot Austin.
Keith has helped shape the entire warehouse culture in Fort Mill. He's loud, energetic, and cares deeply for his people. He's been an awesome friend, coworker, and mentor for me over the last few years. When I joined the river, I worked alongside Keith in receiving. As a young leader, I learned a lot from Keith, both conventional and unconventional leadership strategies, looking out for your team, building relationships with your memory makers and teammates, and above all else, respect. These lessons have shaped me into the leader I am today. We have an inside joke. While working third shift receiving, Keith and I were helping some of our team members set up their health insurance benefits. As a young 23-year-old still in school, I did not need health insurance and opted out. In conversation, I told Keith about this, and from that point on, he heckled me about getting him on my parents' insurance.
On his dad, you hooked me up, man.
That's funny. From James Willett. Keith has a natural coach personality. He is always trying to help those who need extra work or quote unquote life guidance with inspirational speeches and one-on-ones. I mentioned this to him once and it seems to really resonate with him. My favorite memories are his startup meetings. They are always very energetic, passionate, and empowering to his team. And so that's James Willett. To Charlie Workman. And here's what he said. His passion and intensity are infectious. I have many fond memories of him. I remember the late night talks best, though.
Yeah, Tuesday night.
On nights when we were both working late, Keith would stop by my office and chat. He always offered kind words and encouragement and always reminded me that we were a team. I was always uplifted after those talks. Knowing that Keith was on my team always gave me comfort and hope. I'm so grateful for Keith and all that he's given to Broad River's people. And then I got one last one from Trey Smith. It came in late, so I had to write it out. There's much to say about Keith, but he is an extremely dedicated and passionate person in his personal and professional life. It has been an honor to work alongside and lead with Keith in the operations. He has an uncanny ability to read people and have them open up to him. His swagger and personality would show a big tough guy exterior, but deep down he is a big teddy bear that wears his heart on his sleeve. And that's a little bit about Keith Henderson as told from your fellow memory makers and coworkers. Keith, it's been so good to have you on here. I'm going to read this book, your life story, and you're an inspiration, a testament. It's always feels good to have you on with us. Thanks for taking care of the fire that never came to be because of you that day and saving people's lives and getting them out of the building. Thanks for what you do every single day. I always enjoy our conversations and interactions. You come upstairs to Fort Mill to get your coffee and just check in. And it's good. It's good to have you there. It's good to have you with us. And man, keep shining. Keep doing what you're doing.
Hey, can we end this, man? Let Manny know I didn't flatten your tires.
He did not flatten my tires. Hey, guys, we've tried to bring you fresh new content from the river every Wednesday. Do like Keith does and subscribe and check that thing in. Check that thing out on the way to work. Wherever you're watching or listening, if you're on YouTube, check us out. Hey, help us out. Mash that subscribe button or hit that like button. If you're listening on Apple or Amazon, Google, or Spotify, hit that like button. You're going to want to listen to this one and share it with your friends.
And like I say, what Charlie say, man, listen, folks, hit the like button, subscribe. To me, you get a lot of powerful messages in here. You look at the coach, you look at, all these individuals that have been on here expressing themselves. One thing I like about it, it's nothing candy coat. It's nothing rehearsed. It's nothing. It's natural. So once again, it don't get no better than that. Hit that like button, subscribe, support, share.
Love it. Thank you, Keith. I'm going to have you on here some more. Hey, thanks so much. That's the Keith Henderson story, Stories from the River. Thanks so much.